Yo, what it is, fam? You're tuned into another episode of Chopping It Up with Q podcast. You already know who it is. I'm Q,
And I'm VJ.
and we here to entertain you for some odds of 45 minutes to an hour. Depends on if she has a lot to say today.
What? Don't blame it on me. But we're going to try to keep it concise and to the point today. Yeah.
I think people like the banter, though. I mean, I guess it comes off as genuine, organic. It's almost like people who get in discussions. I mean, how many times have you actually had like a discussion with a friend and then all of a sudden y'all get all off subject?
All the time.
There you go.
For those of you who don't know, I'm a rambler, so that is not surprising to anyone.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, she is. But nah, man, what's been up though? What's good?
Nothing. Settling into the new job. They feed me all the time, so I'm going to get fat. I'm going to have to work out because they feed me good. I have not bought myself lunch a single day since I have been here.
Okay. All right, ballers. See, look, we already knew you were going to moving on up and getting all the corporate job, and I'm still waiting for that loan that you said you got me for, but us small people down here.
Did I say I was going to loan you like $20? Because that's really all. Make no mistake. Like, I keep telling y'all on the internet, like, as far as y'all know, as far as you're concerned, I'm ugly and broke. Like, let that still be what you think. Like, I'm still ugly and I'm still broke. Thanks.
And okay, even if you want to say that is your truth, at the end of the day, that won't stop you from ever getting picked up on the streets. I'm just it's true, unfortunately. It's true, though. Go ahead. Name a time where a woman being ugly and broke stopped her from being able to get anything she wants from a dude. Now, it may differ the type of dude she could get, but somebody giving it to her.
Well, it depends, because if she's ugly, broke, she can't suck dick, and her pussy's bad, then no.
Somebody somewhere is hit. I'm telling you, I'm willing to put money on that. We all have. Okay, I want everybody to reminisce back to high school, and I know. Look, first of all, I don't want to ugly shame or anything like that, but we know there's certain folks that just didn't have the same amount of play as others. That's what I'm gonna just say. Mm-hmm. Now we can imagine that individual.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also, we all know that individual either somehow had children at some point, if not more than one. Usually they have more than one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, somebody chose it.
Okay. We're just going let's just move right on. How is your week going? We're just on Tuesday, but nonetheless, we're here. So,
man, busy. One, I'm trying to close out this semester. And it's like every day I'm just thinking, I'm like, damn. I remember, I feel I had that feeling like I did with my senior year of undergrad, where you were like, man, I'm just so ready to get up out. And I already feel that way now, and I've only been in the whole semester. So it's been busy work, though, for the most part. Just trying to go ahead and do it so I can up my bread. But one good thing is I do think I got my job to go ahead and pay for it. So as of right now, that's a plus. Now if we can only go ahead and take care of these loans, then
boom, you in there. You in there. Well, good. Listen, you got a starting point. So good luck to you for the rest of the semester, because it is coming to an end. Shouts out to Kenya, to Kenya Talks, because in 10 days she is graduating from college with her bachelor's, and we are super, super excited for her. Sorry I cannot make it. Moving to the desert has put a damper in my finances, girl, but I love you. I'm there with you in spirit. When mama gets a check, mama gonna send you something. I got you.
Man, don't let VJ fool you. She be holding, but she just don't want people to know. I understand, man. I get it.
Once again, I am poor and I am ugly. Anyway, so Kenya, mama, I got you. I love you. Congrats. got something for you coming. Who else? Shouts out to Jaden Hollywood from Unapologetic Podcast because he is in the second part of his CPA exams. He went into that today. So positive vibes and love and light to you, sir. But I know you ace that shit and you're going to come out and tell me that you got a super great score. So we're just fingers crossed and waiting to hear back about that. So.
Oh, I do also, gotta give a shout out to my man. I believe he still had his live event, but shouts out to D Murph and Big Roy. They did have their live show this past Saturday. I have to hit them up to see how it all turned out. Just I'm sure it went well, but I wasn't able to make it out there. But I did send them my send them my prayers, and I told them, man, you already know everything's gonna be all right, man. Y'all straight. So, hey, man, we're going to see how, I had to hit him up and see how you doing, but shouts out,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. I like seeing people doing stuff out here, my boring ass, I don't be doing nothing.
We know you don't be doing nothing, and it is okay that you don't be doing anything. But here's what you will be doing. Now, this is just hot off the presses. So since we're already here with church announcements, let me get this one off my chest. So a pod connection was in Atlanta this past, was it June or July? I do not recall. But if you remember, we talked about a pod connection. It was an ATL. The next one has just been announced. It is a pod connection Houston, and that is going down July 27th of next year. So that is hot off the press. It's hot off Twitter via the Empress Nick. So shout out to her and Jaden, of course, because they were the hosts of this last one in Atlanta. Can't wait to see everybody in Houston. It is going to be a blast. Just telling you now, you have plenty of time to prepare. July 27th, 2019. It is going down. Both of us will be in the building. Q has no excuses because I have told him far ahead of time. So we will both be there. He just has to get in his car and drive to Houston. He ain't got to get on no planes, trains, automobiles, nothing. We just get in the car and we ride. So we hope to see all of you there. If you're like me and were upset that you had to change plans and miss a Pod Connection ATL, this is your chance to redeem yourself, and we will see you there July 27th, again, 2019. Next year, July 27th, Houston, Texas, a Pod Connection Houston. We will see you there.
Yeah, I know you said just getting in the car and going is easy. Yeah, that's the hardest part for me.
Damn, do I got to cash out you gas money?
No, I got the gas. It's the driving part. I mean, I gotta drive.
He being real raggedy. So I just want y'all to blow up this man's Twitter and his mentions and tell him how fucking raggedy he's being, acting like he cannot drive from Dallas to Houston for a pod connection.
Oh man. Nah, it's actually funny the fact that you also said you're telling people in advance. Now you know that folks be knowing when they family reunion be like 2 years in advance and they still ain't got they $100 per family. You know how they go.
Oh Lord, okay. Almighty. We're not gonna do this. Okay.
I'm just saying, we know what's up. We all been there.
We're not doing this. Okay. God bless it.
But nah, I should be able to hit that up. So there should be no problem with that. As long as I think all of our vacation times will be late January, early July. So yeah, we good. We good to go.
Woo, woo. Hey, we
all
in
I gotta
there.
do is get you to come down and chauffeur me down, and yeah, we in there.
That means I guess I could drive to Dallas and then we could drive to Houston.
I'll let you drive my car. It's cool.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Jesus whip. You don't want me to drive your car. First of all, I keep telling you, I got my license out of the Sears catalog, so I don't know why you keep trying to put me behind the wheel of your car. But that's what you want to do. We're going to say a prayer and take off.
Hey, man. I don't know, because then, Alicia get paid if I go out, so. I don't know. She might enjoy that. She might be like, oh, shit, I ain't got to deal with his ass no more, and I get bread. Girl, yeah, take him. Oh man,
it's been a custody mom. she cut me in 30%.
Yeah, that's horrible. Goddamn. But nah, man. I mean, other than that, nothing too much really been going on. Just trying to work, trying to get these Christmas presents and everything taken care of. Especially this youngest one, she keeps changing her mind on what she wanted. It goes from she wanted a Nintendo to then she wanted a bearded dragon, to then she wants some slime, and she's won it all. So yeah, man, daddy duties on this week. That's about it.
All right. Well, to you people that have, children, RIP to your pocketbooks. Merry Christmas.
Tell me about it. I'll get that's a testimony for another day, man. There we go.
Amen. So what is we'll let you testify about. That'll be our next episode. We'll talk to you about all of our we'll talk about all things Christmas.
Oh man. Yeah, we can talk about that. All these people who got engaged to for like the 30,000th time this year.
Gross.
Yeah, you got that person who got engaged every year. Don't play games.
I got engaged on Christmas Eve. Or was it Christmas Day? I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, anyway.
Did he bring 6 rings for you?
He bought 1 ring. Because poor and broke, as I keep saying. Can I reiterate? Poor and broke.
Hey, you didn't say nice rings. You just said 6 rings. You could have went to Walmart, the little ones they have for like $12. It's supposed to be about the love, not the ring.
Okay, anyway, so the story. Speaking of people's rings and what they were doing with them, there was a viral video making the rounds of a gentleman who proposed to his girlfriend with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 rings. What say you? Do you need 6 rings to propose?
Indecisive ass nigga. You mean to tell me you just couldn't come up with 1 though, right? You gotta try to show folks up like that?
Well, the good thing is if you did not have them sized and specialized, 5 of them can go back to the store from which they were purchased.
Yeah, that's true. So I wonder if my man actually just went and said, "Yeah, let me go and put this all on that Zales card and don't even worry about printing out that receipt. I'm gonna be right back with 5 of these." I mean, I don't know. I would ask, what would be the point to have 6 rings? Really?
He wanted her to have an array of choices about what it is that she wanted. But I will say this to that. I think that when you are getting married to people or contemplating marriage or discussing marriage, at some point the conversation comes up about what kind of ring that person would like. Most people do somewhat have that conversation about rings, or maybe they go pass by a jewelry store case or something, like, do you like the way that looks? Yeah, that's really pretty. Some type of conversation is being had before you go out and drop money on a ring. So I don't see why 6 would be necessary, because I think you would have some idea of what this person wanted, right?
I hope so. But then again, I'm not really that confident that people actually have that discussion. I mean, people barely talk about what's your feelings on kids or not, let alone what ring you like. So
this is true. People are not really having the pertinent discussions that they need to in their relationships, and then they get married anyway. So it is possible that maybe he didn't really know what she would be content with or happy with.
Man, I can see him right now. He probably like, yo, man, I really want to marry her. But shit, I don't even really know what she like. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just bring 6 rings and throw like some fly ass shit talking about, baby, you so cold, and I just appreciate your love for me. I had to give you the choice about it. that's what he did.
Well, I wouldn't be mad if a man showed up with 6 rings. I think it just kind of depends on the school of thought that you're in. You either think it's a nice gesture because he wanted to make sure she got something that she really loved, or you think it's kind of a raggedy gesture because it seems like he doesn't know his soon-to-be fiance very well, so he just phoned it in.
Yeah, see, I'm just trying to help the ladies out here, because if you move your expectations up that high, it's going to be a horrible, sad awakening. I mean, I can't name regular old dudes out here who gonna be just like buying 6 rings for you.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to save you. This is for y'all. I just wanted to let you know that that goalpost ain't moved. You still finna get this regular old ring from I ain't even Tiffany's unless you just balling out like that. But yeah, y'all finna get the Zales or the what's the other ones? Robbins Brothers and
K Jewelers.
Yeah, that's all we doing. But it was better than my proposal. I can say that.
Yeah. Well, I feel. Let me see. Let me guess about your proposal.
Okay, go ahead.
You showed up, and you were hanging out at her house, and you looked at her and said, "Hey, girl, we should go get married."
Close.
Was that it?
Close. So we were in a car instead, though, and I kind of just looked at her like, "Yo, you want to get married?" And she just kind of looked at me. I was like, "Nah, for real, for real." And she was like, "Really? Yeah, let's do it." Romantic, man. I'll tell you, I took that right out of some Shakespeare from somewhere.
So how long have you been married? What year are we on now?
We are almost. Hold up. Been I want to say 8. Going on 9.
Okay, so when we get to 10, I expect you to get that nice lady a ring and a real wedding.
No, she got a ring that she lost, and I gotta get another one. But how do I do the wedding? We already been there, done that though.
You have a vow, a recommitment ceremony, and let that lady have some people there and some food and shit. I'm not saying you got to have a full-fledged wedding, but do something. Just do a recommitment ceremony. Buy her a nice, pretty ring to replace the one she lost, and have some food and some people there.
Fine, all right. So, with that being said, I am going to be enlisting the aid of a couple of ghostwriters to help for vow writing. So, if you are a professional in poem writing or anything, all that sweet shit, then yeah, man, hit me up on Twitter or something, man. We can probably work something out.
Bye. Nobody's writing his vows. We already talked about this on a previous episode. No one apply or volunteer to write his vows for him. I want him to just do this himself.
Y'all don't want that. Y'all gonna get up there and you'll be like, man, what is you talking about? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to freestyle this and it ain't working out. I'm sounding like, one of these dudes who went to one of these dudes who went up to one of these radio stations and don't know how to freestyle.
Aww. Aww, this is sad.
Hey, it'll be tragic, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Don't do that. You know what else is a tragedy?
What's that?
So, Payless. I wouldn't call it a tragedy, more like trickery. Payless, everyone's favorite super affordable shoe retailer, decided that they would have a little fun with the influencers of the world. And basically, they tricked influencers into paying $600 plus for what amounts to their $20 shoes.
They out here just buying regular old canvas shoes for 600 bones. Like, yeah, man, these designers, these them Gordon Gartrell shoes.
Yeah, basically they said that it was an experiment to show that basically shoppers will pay top dollar for what they believe to be, high-end labels. So they opened up a fake boutique store, which they even created a website for, and they named it Palessi. And, they basically invited influencers, social media influencers, to come in and shop the brand's brand new styles. It's a new boutique. Oh, we got a new season of shoes in. Come in and check it out. So they come in and tell them that these are designer shoes, and basically they had 60 fashion influencers come. And they said that they set up in a luxury mall in Los Angeles, and they sold the Payless shoes at about a 1,800% markup. And they said that there's one influencer that paid $645 for a pair of Payless shoes that actually ranged to be from $19.99 to $39.99, and that others marveled at the quality of the shoes and were quoted as saying the Payless designs were just stunning and elegant and sophisticated. Now, at the end of at the end of the prank, they did return everyone's money and tell them that they were Payless brand shoes. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that we as consumers are too obsessed with brand names?
Okay, two parts. One, if I was the pop-up shop for Palessi, y'all ain't getting a damn dime back. You should have did your homework, player. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna keep these 600 bones you wouldn't spend. Yeah, keep them pro wings, dog. But I mean, to an extent, yeah. I mean, it was actually funny. So we were watching. I can't remember that guy's name. He's a comedian, Indian guy, but he had a show and he was talking about like Supreme and like Supreme brand on how they do their model is that they only print like a certain amount of shirts and hoodies and things like that, but they sell them at a high price and it almost makes them, it makes them in high demand. But like the shirts are just all it's just says Supreme with a box tee, but they'll charge you like hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. Well, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Right.
And it's just because the hype behind it. But I mean, yeah, just think about it. Like there's a lot of things we wear because of the hype behind it, or if it's in or not. It's funny, like we were talking about. Another story. I was in the gas station. The dudes was talking about what we used to wear. They were talking about lug boots, and it was like, nah, man, you only wore lugs if you couldn't get Timbs. But that's another story. But we were talking about things like Fila. Like back in middle school, when people were still wearing Fila, as a dude, you couldn't wear Fila shoes. You would have got supremely raw in school. Like they would not let you live that down because Fila was like subpar compared to all the other stuff that was out there. Now for girls, y'all could wear it because that's just what was in. But if you look at it now, Fila is back on top somehow. Probably because Beyonce wore it one day and took a picture on Instagram and it blew up from there. But I think the hype behind the name and who's wearing it is what really drives a lot of these sales.
Well, yeah, I think basically with any of these fashion houses, it's kind of an ebb and flow, right? So I think like, for instance, maybe 5, 6 years ago, Coach was still popular. They kind of made a comeback that was, everybody was buying Coach bags again. And then that, kind of went and you don't really see people buying Coach bags anymore. Then Michael Kors was the hot item to have. And now that's kind of on the downward slope or whatever. So I think it's one of those things where it's just whatever's the in thing, whatever the trendy thing is, that's what everybody has. Now there are some things that kind of are classic and they don't really ever go out of style. But especially with these name brands, it's different case. Like I don't see Nike necessarily ever falling out of favor with people, but I think it's because they serve as such a large demographic that would be hard to do.
Yeah, I think because also brands like Nike and even then it took Adidas a while to come up too, but they're connected also to a cultural thing too. So it's not just fashion; they're also in line with basketball, which is also in line with hip hop and things like that. So that's how they can continue to push those brands forward.
Right. No, that makes sense.
But I mean, it's also fun. Like when you think about it, just based on what you said, doesn't seem like much change from grade school on up as far as how we act when it comes to brands. Because back in school, it was about having a hot brand. That's when everybody, it was going to date myself, when Platinum Fubu was hot. Everybody was rocking that in high school.
Platinum Fubu.
Man, I know they probably got some kids like, what the hell is a Fubu? What is that? But that and other brands like Iceberg. I don't know if you remember them or not, but
I do.
Yeah, so stuff like that, that was what was in, so people wear it. But now, even then, it's kind of like I was a jersey guy, like basketball, football, whatever. I'll wear like jerseys all the time, but I haven't done that since grade school. But you still see a lot of people trying to go out and buy those certain things just because it has their favorite player on it or just what it represents.
Right.
Or grown people still waiting for J's in the line, waiting in line for Jordans. I wouldn't do it, but hey, to each his own. I can't say much about it.
Mm-mm. No, that makes sense. I don't know. I just think it's really interesting with these influencers. And that's just insane, right? Like all it takes is the right person with the right amount of followers on social media for you to see a 1,800% increase in sales. Like that kind of markup is insane.
I mean, it's always interesting because I see it a lot, not just in fashion, but you see it just a lot in the world on how much we hang our hats on what others who we think have a great following say.
Right. And I think it's this whole social media sphere of influence. And like I said, these are influencers. So I mean, I guess that is the point to some extent. But just it's interesting that they were able to convince these people who, you know, obviously are promoting products or, you know, have people shoving their brands in their face trying to get, you know, some type of exposure all the time, for them to not be able to tell the difference between something that costs $600 and something that costs $20.
Honestly, they don't know. Like, unless you are into fashion and into, you know, how it's made and things like that, unless it has a logo on it, honestly, a lot of people can't even tell what's a knockoff and what's real. I mean, why do you think people really do go to New York and go buy a knockoff Dooney? Because nobody else knows it's fake.
This is also true. And then I think you run into that whole situation where, especially with the way our economy works now, and a way it's what they refer to as like fast fashion. The way that works now is that for a lot of companies in production, they own multiple brands. So they're being manufactured in the same factory, just with different tags and different price points on each thing. But the fabric and the stitching may not be that different, or the materials being used may not be any more or less expensive than they are on some of these other brands. And it's the same for clothes, for makeup. Like before we started recording, you and I were talking about your shirt coming from Banana Republic. But yep. Banana Republic is
the
also
high-end Gap. That's right. Let's go ahead and put it out there.
Right, Banana Republic is also a Gap, but Gap owns Banana Republic as well as Old Navy, and they also own several other subsidiaries that escape me at the moment. But the point is you can go to Old Navy and Gap and Banana Republic, and you have 3 different price points. But I guarantee you, all that shit is being manufactured in the same warehouse.
Oh yeah. Hey, honestly, it was a gift from my ex boss though, so I was like, hey, I'm all that's cool.
Yes. And the same with makeup. There are a lot of companies where they own specific makeup lines, but the makeup formulas don't vary from company to company, so they're all being manufactured in the same place, and then a proprietary label for that company is being put on it, and it's being shipped out. But it's all being made in the same place. So there could be very little difference between your $20 makeup and your, you know, $60 makeup or your $80 makeup.
Don't you put that false news out here. People don't want to hear that, goddamn it. They want to know that extra 40 bones is going towards something.
We'll talk to your friendly neighborhood social media influencer about that. So hopefully you can do a better job with your money than them.
Yeah, Bree, where you at, girl? You tell these folks about their makeup and how they getting hustled in some cases.
Hey, Bree.
Oh man, that's the homie. I haven't irritated her in a while. I need to just go on and just say some fly shit just because.
You should. She'll enjoy it very much. If you don't know who we're talking about Bree, who is 1/3 of Good Morning Beautiful. So shouts out to Bree and Neek and Tylese.
Yeah. Hey man, the ones that kind of help get us all in the game for the most part. They don't want to believe it, but hey.
Yeah, they definitely missed. So come back soon, ladies. Do a reunion episode next time you're together because we miss you.
I just need to reach back to a lot of people, man. You know, shouts out to all the ones that kind of helped me along the way. You know, John, D. Murphy, even though he came in after me, but you know, it's a lot of y'all who kind of helped influence this as well. So hey, you know, shouts out to y'all.
I guess speaking of social media.
Oh, do you want to get in there and hurt folks' hearts? But well, apparently there's of course, you have to do more looking into it yourself. Like I said, don't hang your hat on everything I say. I don't be knowing what I be talking about sometimes. But there is a story, and it was kind of like this woman. Let me get her full name and everything. Now, the story goes: have our brains just not evolved for social media? And it is a discussion from a woman. Hold up, what is her name? Damn, I don't think they put her name in here. They probably. Oh, there we go. An anthropologist named Dr. Ann Machin. I think it's how it's Machin. Just Google it. But anyway, she was having a discussion on social media and just the idea of friendships and how organic friendships or friendships that you can actually be with the people and meet them in person actually produce different chemicals to an extent, or it extent, other things that happen when you actually are physically with the person versus if you are just interacting digitally. So it brings up a lot of questions on social media friendships. Like, are they really genuine? Or is this one of those things where like it makes us feel good at a moment, but at the end there's really no payoff to that friendship? If those are fair questions.
I think with social, like we often tell people, the beginning of our friendship was you being a complete troll on Twitter and me being annoyed and telling you to go away at least once a day. And it evolved into us doing a podcast together, but we also hang out with each other's families and go to events together and, talk outside of podcasting pretty frequently. Mm-hmm. So I think what stands to reason is that there's nothing wrong with cultivating friendships through social media. I think the crux of it is that those relationships then have to move from social media into the real world. And when they're missing that secondary piece, then they start to become empty, because like the study was showing, or like the discussion was, your body needs certain chemicals, and the release that you get from social interaction is not the same release that you get from online interaction. So you kind of have to have them both for it to be healthy.
Yeah. And I like how you tell people our relationship started off with you telling me the whole "go home, Roger" line. It's all good though.
Every day for at least 2 months.
Well, you weren't the only one. It's all good. I ain't tripping. But but I mean, I get that, and I think let's just ask this: do you feel that when it comes to social media relationships, people feel like they're safer because you let someone in, but you don't let people completely into your life? So you can kind of just give them the piece that you would like them to have to keep them entertained or keep them at bay for the moment.
I think for some people that is the case, because you have people who have social anxiety or may not make friends easily when it comes to social interactions, or people that are just loners or get teased at school or whatever. So I do think that some social media is good in that respect, because you do have a lot of people that will tell you, they feel like the friends or the friendships that they cultivated online saved their lives. They feel like they were able to cultivate something that they hadn't been able to do previously in real time with people. And so maybe having that space allowed them to kind of ease the anxiety that they would normally have.
That's tough. Because never mind. That's going to be super inappropriate.
Do I even want to know?
I mean, I was just sitting there thinking, because I'm going back, like, even the weird, can I say weird? I don't know. Weird in, relative terms. But even the dudes who thought Dragon Ball Z was a real thing and they 15, 16 reenacted it on college camp. I mean, not college, but high school campus had friends. So I was like, are friendships that hard to formulate now?
I don't know that they're so hard to formulate, but you see with the rise of online bullying, like these children are being bullied to the point of killing themselves over things that are being said over the internet or things that are being posted on the internet. So it stands to reason that the opposite of that would be that these kids aren't necessarily they're being bullied on the internet, that's also how they're making friends.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's necessarily not being able to make friends in real life, but think about the kids that live places where they're it. Like they aren't being able to make the connections with other kids because there are no connections. Because you go to a school and, I mean, because I don't want to necessarily just make this the whole crux of it, but you go to school and then you're the only, you go to you live in a small town and everyone in town thinks you're weird because you want to, I don't know, you think unicorns are real or whatever.
Okay.
But the point is that you can live in places and spaces where you are singled out by what makes you different in a time in your life as a teenager when you desperately just want to fit in. Okay. And so when you stick out like a sore thumb in these small places, in these small towns, I think the internet gives you an outlet to find people who are like you. And they may not get that where they are.
Okay. I can hear that. I got you. I don't know. I just started thinking, like you said, because it kind of goes back, like, you remember that whole discussion we had when they were talking, like, black nerds, when they were saying how they didn't feel accepted by black women and things like that. And I remember I was like, well, I thought I considered myself one and I didn't have issues with that. So maybe there was something else there, but I don't know.
Those types of conversations and arguments are generally based around the idea that they think the reason these people did not like them is because of their nerd, geek, whatever status. When in reality, the people didn't like them for a myriad of other reasons. Because then their personalities shine through with these whining ass tweets they put out. And you're like, don't nobody like you because you're a whining ass bitch. They have nothing to do with you liking fucking anime. I like anime too, but I'm not here whining about it because every man that I wanted didn't want me. There were a lot of fine niggas that I wanted that wouldn't give me the time of day back in the day. You don't hear me crying and whining around on the internet. It's somebody for everybody.
Right.
Why don't you want who wants you?
Write it down in your journal.
I don't do that either.
My bad, diary. I guess
the point is start wanting who wants you. And quit worrying about the rest of these motherfuckers. You won't have these problems. Complaining on the internet, talking about girls didn't want me because I was a nerd. Girls can be nerds too. Girls can like stuff too.
Man, in fact, last time I remember, well, like I said, this is going back. I guess I feel old now because this is the early 2000s for all this, but they found that shit adorable for the most part. I mean, you can't be weird or nothing like that because I guess some of the issues is that people have quirks, but it's like some people's quirks are more extreme than others. So you may want to be friends with someone, but they just be like on some other stuff, and you like, man, I don't know how that's gonna work within the realms of this friendship. And I don't know. That's why I'm just wondering more. Like, is that more of a factor, or is it that they're just that one thing, and then it's like people just associate them? Oh, they're nerds, so we don't hang with nerds. It's like, I don't know. Hey, whatever. It's like, but I guess the moral of this story is make sure to get out and interact with folks too. Like, having friendships online is okay, but I mean, if it's a genuine friendship, maybe you also link up from time to time. Hey, I'm in your city. What you got going? That type
I think you kind of have to. I think that's really the point of the article. It's not that social media is bad. It's not that living in a digital age is a horrible thing. It's simply that insofar as our mental health is concerned in the realm of in the digital age, just because we're making leaps and bounds forward digitally doesn't mean our biology is making the same leaps and bounds. So we still need our from a neurological standpoint, we still need those chemical releases, and we get them through social interaction and touch. And so you don't get that part, that you don't get those things that your body needs when you're sitting behind a computer screen and not interacting with people. So you definitely need both parts. Like, it's fine to have Instagram likes and it's fine to have online friends, but occasionally you just have to get out there and meet some of these people for a cup of coffee.
Hey, that's real. Only invited though. That don't mean just show up to somebody's spot like, yo, I'm here. Like, you can't do that.
The fact that you had to preference that is scary in itself. The fact that you had to remind people to not show up to other people's homes uninvited scares the shit out of me. And this is why you're my only internet friend.
I mean, it's like, some people do take it to the extreme because sometimes what you talk about online, they take it literal. And, sometimes we get on here, we joke. But some people, you don't know how people are going to take what you have to say. So you may say something like, yeah, man, anytime, what's going, hit me up. And all of a sudden they show up like Martin did on that one episode. You like, yeah, every time I said I was in Hollywood to show up. You like, nah, nigga, I was just playing. You can't just show up my family here. That type of stuff. So.
Right.
Oh man. Yeah, it's a lot. I don't have a segue for this, so I'm just rolling to it. But the last thing is I just want to kind of highlight on how our school system has possibly failed us at some point again. There was a story that popped off. It had to deal with a couple who were applying for a marriage license. And they were told that their state was not a state. Now, he's from New Mexico.
Okay.
And I guess the guy just thought he said Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give an idea, the individuals that is Gavin Clarkson and his wife. Mm-hmm. So they went in to apply for their marriage license, and you have to show ID. You have to show that you're a legal citizen and everything like that. So he shows his ID. It says New Mexico, and the clerk stated that they cannot take that because they thought he was a foreign citizen. So he had to provide his international passport to show that he was a citizen. Now, I'm not going to get on the clerk too much, but the question remains is like, do we really not know the states or, how they operate? It kind of reminds me of the story of, I always going to butcher this young man's name, but the quarterback for Alabama. I think it's Tatuya. I think it's how it's pronounced. I probably butchered that, so don't shoot me.
Okay.
But anyway,
got you.
He's from Hawaii. Hawaii is an English speaking. Now, of course, they do have a native language there as well, but for the most part, it is a U.S. state, and they do speak English there.
Yes.
And they had someone ask the coach one time, "Hey, he's talented and everything, and we know." Did you have to kind of dumb down the playbook, or how did you get past the language barrier? And it's like, language barrier? What are you talking about? You do know he's from Hawaii, off the coast of California. It's part of the 50 states. I mean, it's almost like people, if you say you're from Alaska, they think you're from Canada. So,
people are so fucking stupid.
It's true though, but there's a breakdown somewhere in our education where some things just don't come easy to people. I don't know. That was my main highlight with that one.
It is just it is crazy to me how many people are put in positions where they have to make decisions that impact the lives of other people, and they really don't have the appropriate knowledge. And I get fake it till you make it, but I don't think you get to fake your way through knowing all 50 of the states in order to, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, what?
Yeah.
What? Like, and the fact that he had a passport to pull out, is a bit of privilege in itself, because there are a lot of people who don't have a passport and would have been like, this is my state issued ID. What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. My whole thing is this.
Like, I wouldn't have taken my passport to get a marriage license. I'd have been like, okay, well, this is my Texas state or my New Mexico state issued license, and I would like to get I would like to get a marriage license. What is the problem?
They go say, ma'am, this says Tejas.
They would have had to go get, so all I know is I wouldn't have went home to get a bitch ass thing. Sir, you need to go get your supervisor.
They would have been like, oh, madam, you said this said Texas. This actually says Tejas.
No, they need to know. He'd had to go get somebody. He'd had to phone a friend or use a lifeline or whatever. But I wouldn't have left there until I got a marriage license. I can't help it that you don't know all 50 states.
Here's the question I have. Last time I checked, we all have an internet in our hands. You mean to tell me that Googling New Mexico wasn't like that easy? You could just be like, "Oh, is this a state? Let me see."
Yeah.
That would be my question, because I'm like, there's other options to confirm if this is a state or not.
Well, here's the thing: you're in an office. Somebody else works there too, so you could have just taken the license and showed it to another person and been like, "Hey, is this valid ID?"
I mean,
just everyone in the office was stupid enough to think New Mexico wasn't a state.
I guess so. I guess so. Oh man, I don't know. That's why I was wondering. I was like, this is just something strange about that story that I'm like, there's just so many other things available to determine if this was a state or not.
Which I'm gonna go on a quick soapbox tangent. Well, not like it's like mini. I'm not gonna pull out the soapbox. I'm gonna say this. This is why the application and the test for citizenship should either be easier, or the motherfuckers that are natural born citizens should have to take that bitch too. Because the fact that you don't know that New Mexico is a state, but these people have to be able to name rivers, counties, presidents, events, all the faces on Mount Rushmore, the last four the driver's license of George Washington. Like,
if
they have to name shit that doesn't even exist.
If you tested every citizen on the history of the United States, or hell, naming the 50 states, naming all the capitals or anything like that, half of us would get deported somewhere.
They would fail. I watched I cannot remember what the show was, but it was a segment on a show, and they had a map, and the map was laid out the way they had the map laid out in a way that put America on the right side of the map. Because, normally when we look at maps and they're flat, not a globe, they have North America and South America on the left side. They put them on the right, essentially, put them on the right, looking at the globe like if you were spinning it. Flat map, they had everything white, but they had it bordered off, like they had the countries bordered off, but everything was white. And they said, I want you to name a country, just find a country on the map and point to it for me. All of the people kept pointing to Africa and saying Africa. And it was like, and they kept saying, can you name a country in Africa? Because Africa's not a country. And keep in mind, their own fucking countries on this map. Like, they could have pointed to the United States at any time and said, this is the United States. And none of them did that.
Matter of fact, we're going to do that. Name all of the continents. First of all, if you said country, a lot of people can't even tell you what's the difference between a country and a continent. That's just pretty sad. I mean, it's rough out here, though. I mean, I agree. I think they even had a sample test you could take online to determine if you were past the citizenship or not.
Oh, yes, because I asked you questions off of it. I do recall that. Which, for the most part, you got them right. So,
right. I'm somewhat of a genius, but we're not counting me, though. I'm an exception to the rule.
Yeah, but the average American does not know, and that is the part that is concerning. You want these people who are coming here for a better life, and they are paying all of this money and lawyers and immigration fees and trying to go about it the right way, and then you want to plop this test down in front of them and have them learn stuff that the average person is not even learning in school.
Man, look.
Or can't tell you, or doesn't have any frame of reference for. So it's like, I don't understand why, I don't get this narrative of these people are coming here and they have to be so exceptional to stay here that the people that live here and are citizens don't have to be exceptional at all. By birth, you have the right to be completely mediocre and stupid.
Yeah. Here's the question, though. I understand learning the laws. I understand learning, just different laws of the land, laws of the road, business
the Constitution.
Laws, so
well, yeah, the things that are going to affect you daily are things you need to know. Absolutely. You need to know how not to break the law. That's pertinent information.
Yeah, even if you want to know how our government works, so on and so forth. But what is the benefit of a foreigner to learn U.S. history? Like, honestly.
There really isn't one. And then so the whole point of the soapbox was simply to say that we should definitely be voting for and pushing immigration reform. And every time we open our mouth and our breath, and I know black people like to say, hey, we have bigger fish to fry and we have things that are more important to us. But I just always remind you that while it is border wars today, it'll be how can we ship these black people back to African countries tomorrow? That I'm just saying. Like, we all like to do this thing where it doesn't matter who it is as long as it's not us. But I'm telling you, when they get done fucking with those other people, we'll be the next ones on the list.
Apparently there's always a rumor on how they're trying to, that every time, I can't remember, which amendment was it? It's not 14, but the one that gave us the right to vote, that's always up for review, like every so many years.
Yeah, they're full of shit.
Nobody ever questions that, though. But voting doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I'm going to get on that.
Well, do you have any other church announcements for us since we're winding down? I think we've done enough ranting at these people for today.
I know. Right? Well, here's the one that is going to, I want to pick your brain on. I have my thoughts on it. I'm going to try to read through it because it's actually something I got from Facebook. But it goes as stated. Black women are the only race I have ever witnessed where any interest in sexuality at all will literally destroy her reputation within the black community forever. White women can literally discover sex as teenagers, be sexually fluid in college, have sex with any or every guy she dates as a young adult, and still get married, have high standards, and be a soccer mom. Black women have sex with one black man and the community finds out about it. She's a hoe. She is a hoe forever. She gets pregnant out of wedlock. She is a hoe with baggage. Any man who loves her is seen as a joke. Self-expression and mistakes are only reserved for black men in the black community. There is no democracy or understanding for black women. There is just constant judging and belittling. She could graduate and be a corporate millionaire and still be a big hoe to her community. This is a part of why black women are angry. As soon as our boobs grow, our mothers are told to watch us, that we will be fast. We are looked at as sexual objects and demonized for being sexual beings. End quote. It's a lot to take in, but we are corresponding black women on the staff. Would you like to go ahead and speak to that first?
Yes, Quentin, I am here live. No, I'm kidding. That is, honestly, it just makes me sad. And I know that sounds really, really dumbed down and stupid, but it just makes you sad. Because as much as I don't want to believe that is true, part of me is sitting here nodding because parts of it are true. You grow boobs and get a period and you have grown men lusting after you or chasing after you that don't have any business talking to you or trying to be involved, or talking to you or making advances at you, and it's cover up and, these fast ass girls out here, and it's just all this stuff. And it's like, it is disproportionately applied to black women. Just like, black girls are suspended more than white girls are from school, or they're viewed more sexually. Like it's always tied to our sexuality. And it's like with white women, they get to be docile creatures that need protecting, but that's never the case for black women. And it's just disheartening. And I'm not saying that it's not gotten somewhat better, but I think that part about reputation means a lot, because I think even now when you talk to, black guys or even like black men growing up or we're in junior high and high school or whatever, like, we're taught that, you should keep your legs closed, stay away from these boys, don't be fast, don't, wear tight clothes, don't have skin showing. And it's just like, it is suppressing your sexuality when there's really no reason for it, or cover up, or why does your daughter have on a 2-piece bikini? And it's just like, they're kids, they're children.
Yeah.
And it's like we're sexualizing children in a way that makes them always feel like it's dirty. Like they're always dirty. They can't do anything. It's not okay for you to like sex or have any type of sexual release outside of marriage, or if you have sex with too many partners, you're a hoe, or you're damaged goods, or nobody will want you. And why does it have to be that way?
Oh, man, it's a lot. So I think one thing that messes people up, even though we have gotten better at medical science behind all this, but what messes a lot of people up was children, childbirth, because it's always, one of those situations where, well, men go out here and be a whole, even if he got a lot of kids, he gonna have to financially pay for it, that type of shit. Even though half the dudes don't get caught, they on the run now. But if on the flip side, if women out here being hoes, they get kids and then that become a financial burden on the government. Because I remember I actually sat down, I was having a discussion with Eric about it, and this is just in general. And I was like, this is why I think they try to suppress women more than they do men. Not saying this is right, but this is just my thoughts on it. I was like, it's easier to punish the man for having kids because we can then tax him financially, or imprison him if he doesn't. Because I mean, that's really the part of the reason you go to jail, not because the government wants you to take care of your kids. It's because it's a tax that you actually owe the government money. Right. And if you don't pay your money, then that's against the law. Then us telling, because other than that, there's no way to really punish a woman for bearing children. But then we like, oh, that's gonna be a financial burden. She ain't gonna do nothing beyond, assistance, blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. Now, when it comes to, and it kind of goes with what Malcolm X says, like, black women are one of the most unprotected groups in the U.S., and I think that stems from a lot of different things. One, black men don't really feel empowered enough to protect their woman. I don't know if that's probably a broad generalization.
Okay.
And then, of course, being of our history here in this country, a lot of black men have actually turned into somewhat of the predator. Because, hey, hurt people. So if I'm getting abused out here in these streets, I'm going to then transfer that to someone else.
Right. No, and I don't want to, and that's the thing, I don't want to get in front of a mic and yell toxic masculinity, all the men are shit, because I don't think that is it. I think that to some extent, yes, it is about that, but I don't want to say that is completely what the issue is here. And I think the part that we haven't really talked about is the way white women play into this, right? Mm-hmm. And I think there's this idea, which I agree with what the post is. I think there is something to the idea that maybe white women, you hear these stories, even with my white friends, that I was friends with in college, they're, all married and have kids. And it's just funny to me because I'm looking at these Facebook photos of these, and they're in these baby mom groups and they're taking these really cute, family photos, and they're all dressed in matching outfits, and they have like the soccer mom haircuts now, and they're just these sharing recipes and Bible verses. And it's just like literally 7 years ago,
you hooked up with Tyrone and Thomas. I remember that night.
And it's like literally it's literally 8 years ago. You would have been like all the rage at the kegger. Like, it's just insanity to me. Like, these are the same people where we used to get shit-faced drunk and they couldn't even remember who they had been with the night before.
See, I don't know, because I remember, it's actually funny. I think I was telling you the story, man. It was a joke, but it was still true. As far as the women my mom warned me about starting up, it was white women. Like, leave those women alone. They are fast. They'll do this. They'll do that. And it don't matter what you say. If they say you did something wrong, that's it. When I say I was scared straight, I was like, okay, mama.
I don't want any. Yeah, and I think it also has a bit to do with slavery, right? Like, white women are considered, for whatever reason, white women are still considered a prize, and we still kind of have that mentality of white is right.
I mean, here's my only thing. For what I say, we're all hoes. Hell, I wore it as a badge. I remember when me and my old lady first got together, she actually asked me, like, how many people I've ever been with. And I was like, oh shit, it's this many. But I mean, I just didn't look at it as bad, because I was like, look, because at the end of the day, here's another thing we got to talk, and I know people don't like hearing this, but honestly, at the end of the day, If someone decide they don't want to mess with you because they feel like you got too much baggage on you, you can't be mad. I mean, that's how I looked at it. Like, so if she got upset because one of the women I named happened to been a cousin of hers at one time, and she was like, "Yeah, I can't do that," I understand. I mean, I don't know. That's just how I looked at it. And I think when it comes to the idea of hoes, it's not that bad until you put math to it. Because I remember I had a buddy. He told me a story. He was at PV, and I think he said he was sophomore. I can't remember what year, but he met this one girl. She was a sophomore, and she was still a virgin at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that, oh yeah, she wasn't a virgin. And they got on a discussion about how many people they've ever been with. And she was like, yeah, I've been with, about 30 guys. And he's like, wait, you said you lost your virginity last month. She's like, yeah. And so, he started running the numbers. He's like, man, you average a dude a day? Like, how does that work? And I think stuff like that is what fuck a lot of people up. Because they're like, oh, shit, okay. I don't know. It's interesting, though. I mean, how can I put it? Personally, the number doesn't mess with me. I think quality is more my concern. Like, if you say you've been with 100 men, okay, cool. But if you say that, about 10 of them are ex-crackheads, I'm gonna have some problems. I'm gonna be like, wait, what you doing out here? Like, why is that the type of man you decide you know? And I don't know. Do women ever actually care too? Like, is that something that y'all actually care about, or do you just kind of just brush it off?
Well, here's the thing. I think we are socialized to feel like men having sex with a bunch of different women is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that he has had practice. But I think that my concern now, especially as I've gotten older, I don't want to know what your number is. I don't care. Like, I'm not about to ask any people you slept with because I frankly don't give a fuck. Like, that's not any of my concern. It, honest to God, is not. Like, why would I care who you slept with prior to me as long as you don't have any STDs or anything like that? Like, it literally does not affect me in any way.
I guess, would it matter if one of the individuals used to be a friend is a friend or relative of yours? Does that play a role?
Yeah, and I think that really is the only thing. But as far as the numerical value and how and why, none of that matters. It simply matters, are these people related to me in some way that would make me uncomfortable to now be having the same type of intimate relationship with you? But aside from that, it doesn't matter. And so I think that very often white women get a pass and they are able to move in and out of these spaces with some type of sexual fluidity that is not afforded to black women.
I ain't gonna lie, I did make fun of my wife when she pointed out one dude that she used to mess around with. I said he looked like McGill or Gorilla. I was like, you must have been going through something, huh?
Oh my, okay, enough of this. All right, that'll be just about enough. We can go ahead and cut this off.
But no, to be serious though, I do understand. I mean, I think as we get older, the less that matters. I think because in your early 20s, that may be a question because a lot of us really just started. For the most part. So,
yeah.
You have questions about that. But like in your 30s, honestly, I'm going to assume that everybody's been bust down at least 100. I'm just saying. Like,
100 people though?
I mean, think about it. Like, cause if you started in, let's say 18, that's 12 years. Let's say you just make 30. That's 12 years. That's at least 10, a little under 10 people a year.
That's a lot of people for me personally. But that's not.
You didn't.
That's a lot of people for me personally. But if that's not a lot of people for you, cool. I want you to go out here and live your best life. If you want to fuck 10, if you want to fuck 10 people a week.
So you trying to tell me you ain't out here knocking them down like that?
I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I simply do not have the time or patience to meet that many people with which I want to bump genitals. On a regular basis.
Okay, all right. I'll use that one.
Yeah, I just don't. I have not come across that many people with which I want to rub genitals. So that has not happened. but I could see the allure there. And, if you have met that many people that you would like to bump your genitals against, I see no problem with it. And I think it is really just a shame. And like I said, it saddens me that Black women can never escape that stigma. I just kind of want to bring it back to the actual topic, but but I think it's crazy because no matter, because it's no matter what you do, you could become go to church and salvation, and the first thing I'm gonna say, she sit up there holier thou, and she used to be a hoe, and it's like, what?
Well, let's ask this question then. How much of, because let's just be honest, especially in the South, most of us grew up Baptist and some kind of Christian. How much does that play into that stigma?
I mean, I think that's where most of it comes from. I think that we are raised in these Baptist fire and brimstone, whatever churches, and they're telling you, sexually you shouldn't do anything, and you should save yourself for marriage, and you need to be a virgin, and you need to be pure, and if you aren't, it's a sin against God, and you're going to hell, and no man should ever want you, and you're not worthy of a husband. And when you're telling women that, or you're telling teenagers that at a time when their hormones are raging and they're going through puberty and all they want to do is be able to talk or, do something about these sexual urges, I feel like it sends the wrong message. And even past that, you're telling people that because they had sex, they're somehow unworthy or unclean.
Okay. All right. Last thing, going forward then, what would you recommend? I guess I don't know who's the main culprit. So let's say you got an audience of, black men, elders, and so on and so forth. What would you tell them we need to do to alleviate this and to really work towards this? Are we, because the main question they're gonna be like, so we just let these kids run around buck wild? Is that what we're supposed to do?
No, I'm not saying that you let kids run wild, but I think that there's this taboo about sexuality, right? I think we do this thing where we tell these kids that they're going to hell if they have sex, but then we don't want to answer their questions about sex. The only question we're answering is, don't do it, because if you do it, you're going to hell. And I think there is a happy medium between don't have sex, you're going to hell, and please go out here and bust it open for everybody you see. There's a happy medium there somewhere. So I think going forward, the idea here is that we allow kids to have sexual education and know how things work and how that should operate, but still have them in the mindset that, if you believe in the Lord and you believe in this idea that you should save yourself for marriage, if that is something that you truly believe in, then that's something you should aim for. But but we're all created in God's image and we all fall short. So if it does not work out that way, then you are not going to go to hell because you made a mistake. Your sexual activity does not make you irredeemable in the eyes of anyone. And I think that should be the message here, that the onus shouldn't be placed on women specifically to be the gatekeepers of sexual activity and relationships. It should fall to both parties. And I think it's high time that they stepped up and started treating the men in their congregations the same way they treat women, or outside of the church, you treat men and you treat your boys that you're raising the same way you treat the girls that you're raising.
See, I think
my son can run around at all hours of the night and do whatever he wants because he can't come home with the baby, but my daughter, I have to police her to death because she could come home with the baby. Mm-hmm. No, you start treating your boys and your girls the same way about their sexual activities, and tell these same boys, hey, it's not cool for you to be out here running around swinging your dick all over the universe either. If you're going to do it for one, you have to make that applicable to the other people. We need to start holding both parties accountable. That's what you do going forward. You don't hide sex and don't make it taboo, but you also don't force one party into feeling ashamed about having sexual urges.
I agree. I think this is another thing that I think is a hang up for a lot of people. And this is just me thinking like everyone. The way sex is initiated, I think that's also why they try to put all the onus on the woman, because I, as a man, I am not allowed to have sex unless I am given permission or I have earned it. And a lot of times you have earned it because you have been given permission to do so. So I think that's also why there's this, oh, hooray, son, good job. That's why when it comes to men being hoes, it's not looked at in a certain way because, oh, well, he had to go out here and grind for that. You know, he had to show he was worthy. Ain't no 20 women having sex with him and he ain't do nothing for it. Versus if she had 20 sex with men, that didn't require any work.
Okay, I guess I could kind of see. I see that. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just trying to just have that conversation. Like, is that part of the reason?
To some extent, I think so. I think that men, like I said, I think that women definitely are the sexual gatekeepers when it comes to sex and sexuality and relationships. And like I said, I think that is the portion that needs to change. And so we have these conversations about healthy relationships and about consent and what that looks like. And I think that helps, right? I think having these open conversations with kids, with boys and girls, men and women, young men and young women, having these conversations where the discussion is about consent, about making healthy choices sexually, and that not necessarily being on one partner or the other, and not pushing this idea of coercion where I have to, if she says no, she doesn't really mean no. She kind of means yes. And if I keep pressing, then it'll turn into yes. I think if we, like I said, if I think we have open, honest conversations about sexuality and consent and what that looks like, then that alleviates this need to do that.
I remember I had a story about how that got me in trouble. So I listened and she got mad at me.
because she's also being taught this horrible negative shit that if you want to have sex, you have to say no first, lest you look like a hoe. So I have to pretend like I don't want it and like I'm not going to give it to him because I don't want him to think less of me.
Mm-hmm. Just like I remember my old lady when she was like, "Oh, I just wanted you as a booty call." I say, "Well, shoot, let's go back there. We go ahead and get this marriage annulled." She's like, "Nah, it's too late now." I say, "Well, what you gonna tell me now for that? I can't capitalize on this. See, missing out on opportunities left and right." But oh man, like honestly though, this conversation it's going to be ever going because it's just going to require a lot of people to really, really analyze where the thought processes are. Why do we feel that way? And really, it's education at the end of the day. So, and I think that was some of the biggest issues with the black church is because sex is stigmatized. And I understand, like I said, where children come from, it messes a lot of people up because a lot of people only look at it as a burden on the family. Oh, this is a baby, you don't have a father, so damn it, me as the grandfather or the mother, now we got to figure out something to do in order to help you raise this kid. And
right,
you know, and it's kind of like the whole, like we were talking about before, like there are some fair and unfair things because, like, if it were your son, hey, little nigga, you got to figure something out, and that's that. He on his own, so it just requires people to actually, like you said, sit down, have that conversation, and really discuss these matters. Even though it's an uncomfortable one, it's not. Mm-hmm. It's not always fun, but it's necessary. So, yeah. Big ups to Professor VJ in the building. You know, she's going to be here weekly to be able to give you some more scientific breakthroughs on what we have going on in society on it.
That is funny.
Oh, man. All right, man. So, anything else you got on that, or you want to go ahead and tell folks where they can reach out to you for follow-up questions?
I don't think I have anything else on it right now. Maybe we'll do a poll and we can ask some follow-up questions there. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe I'll release a poll and I'll just ask you guys some questions about Hoe Is Life. We'll see.
Yeah, look, everybody's hoes. I don't know what the look. I don't know no grown ass man that want virgins. I never met that guy.
We're gonna find out here shortly. So
I'm like, last time I checked, I think a freaky virgin is an oxymoron. I'm just saying, like, yeah.
Well, we're gonna do a poll and we're gonna find out.
Oh man. So what's the social handles then? Where they gonna find that poll at?
Yeah, so I will probably post the poll, I guess, from my page, maybe from the show's page. So show's page is at chopping it up _pod. if you want to reach us there for comments or whatever you want to talk about the show, we like to interact with you on Twitter, so please do that. I've decided that after the new year we will have IG. So January 1st there'll be IG for the show. I just might as well just let it rock through December and start the year with a fresh IG page. So we will do that. Let's see. My social media handles is going to be at VJ_Burton on Twitter and on Instagram, and on Snapchat it is Meek B. So if you'd like to continue the conversation with me on any of those platforms, you are welcome to do that. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy having interesting conversations with you guys. So yes, hit us up more, talk to us more. We love to hear from you. Also, please in the comments below, tell us all of your deepest hopes and fears and wishes and dreams. Q, where can the people find you, good sir?
Yeah, so you can catch me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Q_the_greats, or you can catch me on Facebook, which is at Quentin Simpson. And I guess I got to get into photogenic, get all photogenic and stuff, since we're gonna have this IG popping. It's all good. But I gotta charge you though. But
oh God,
nah, man. But nah, man. Only thing I want to say is, I appreciate all the people who've been rocking with us, all the listeners, old and new. Y'all greatly appreciate it. Any feedback, all that stuff, and go ahead and leave us leave us some reviews. Let us know how we doing. Let us know what we need to improve on. All that stuff. My feelings don't get hurt that easily. So just let loose.
Oh, I did forget. There was something else before I forget. Yes. So earlier in the week, I was a guest on this week's episode of the Awakened Soul podcast. That is a part of the Breaks Media group. With CEO Hayes. If you want to check that out, you can just follow them at Awakened Soul Pod. And if you want to follow CJ, I believe his Twitter name is at CEO Hayes. But definitely check out the show if you have not, if you're a first time listener. If you like me and you like other interesting people, then I'm on the show and you can enjoy me there. But you should definitely check out their show as well.
All right. That's what's up. All right, man. Other than that, I think that's a wrap, man. We already been on here long enough. Folks probably like, man, all right, man, get to the point. But nah, look, like I said, I appreciate everybody who has been listening and all the other listeners. Make sure to share, tell a friend to tell a friend, comment, rate us, all that good stuff, man. Other than that, we about.
Laters.